Welcome to Ruffing the Passer, the show where I talk football, miscellaneous stuff, and mostly football. I'm your host, Sam Ruffing, and today I want to discuss the losing teams of the AFC/NFC Championship games. And before we get onto that, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe down below, hit the bell to stay notified, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you all. I would greatly appreciate it if you did so. Now, I want to talk the 49ers first and their head coach, Kyle Shanahan, after their after blowing a 10-point lead to the LA Rams in SoFi when the 49ers kind of had home field advantage. It was like 50-50 Rams-Niners fans, which was kind of funny. I just kind of noticed that in the NFL, we like to compare players and coaches to past players and coaches and whatever. And so a lot you'll see like Patrick Mahomes is the next Brett Favre, which became really true yesterday in a way. Mac Jones looks too much like a young Tom Brady, all that. Anyways. But there's one comp that I'm beginning to notice and the pattern is emerging where Kyle Shanahan kind of looks like the next Andy Reid. I hate to say it, but Kyle Shanahan, son of former Broncos legend Mike Shanahan. Yeah, he's beginning to look a little bit like Andy Reid, let's be real. The pattern's emerging for him in both of them. They're both good play callers. No one can deny how good a play caller Kyle Shanahan or Andy Reid are. How good they are at play calling. No one can deny how good their offenses are, and the teams overall, they usually finish with a great record if things go their way. Thankfully, Andy Reid's case, he usually has a healthy quarterback, and that helps him. And Kyle Shanahan, when he has a healthy quarterback, and Jimmy Garoppolo, usually has a winning record, makes the playoffs. So I think that they're both great coaches. I'm not going to deny their talent. But one area they seem to lack, and they both had this problem, is decision-making late in huge games. And that was fully evident yesterday with Kyle Shanahan blowing that 10-point lead to the LA Rams. Now, it's not all his fault. Matthew Stafford is one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL statistically. He has the most fourth-quarter comebacks since 2016. So fine, but when that would be an outlier if it weren't for the fact that the Niners blew a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, and Kyle Shanahan blew a 25-point lead in Atlanta with his terrible play calling late in games. And one decision-making aspect everyone seems to question from yesterday is why they only gave Deebo Samuel, their star receiver and running back in a way, only one carry in the fourth quarter. They didn't give him a single carry late in the last 12 minutes, which would have been huge because he's really good at running the ball and catching the ball, and it's insane. And yet again, another 10-point lead. I'm beginning to notice a little uncertain trend here. A trend you don't want to see in Kyle Shanahan that's very much like Andy Reid, who himself blew an 18-point lead against the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday after going up 21-3 in the second quarter. They allowed a touchdown on a screenplay to Cincinnati. And despite the Chiefs' best efforts to hold every single Bengals player on offense or defense, don't think I didn't notice the T. Higgins ones. You Chiefs fans got away with a lot. Despite their best efforts to give them the game, they still blew it late in the game. Andy Reid's decision-making late and in crucial moments wasn't exactly brilliant, let's just say. Why on earth are you calling a play that is not designed to get into the end zone, that is not designed to be thrown into the end zone immediately with 5 seconds left? Either have Patrick Mahomes try and run a quick fade in the back of the end zone with Travis Kelce, have Tyreek Hill run somewhere in the end zone, or just kick the dang field goal because you have one of the best kickers in the NFL. But no, Andy Reid and his costly play calling decided it would be best to it would be best to throw the ball short of the sticks. You got tackled by Cincinnati, costing the Chiefs potentially 3 points, potentially 7 points, and then ultimately lose by 3 in overtime. So yeah, that was not Andy Reid's best decision there. And let's be real about Andy Reid. He is probably one of the most overrated head coaches of all time. Don't get me wrong, he's great. But he is so overrated in so many ways. I saw some people saying, like, maybe Andy Reid's better than Belichick. And I'm like, oh, heck no. You know how many Super Bowls Andy Reid's won as a head coach? 1. You know who he faced to win that? Kyle Shanahan, the only coach who seems to choke it more late in games. Andy Reid's went to 5 straight NFC Championship games in Philadelphia. He went to the Super Bowl once. In Kansas City, he's been to the Super Bowl twice. In 4 straight AFC Championship games, he's lost 2 of them. And in one Super Bowl, his game plan was awful. They were throwing it deep when the run game was working against the best, the best team in the NFL, the best run defense in the NFL in Tampa, and they got destroyed. If it weren't for Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid would have no Super Bowls right now. Let's be real. The only ones he would have won is because he was carried by Mike Holmgren in Green Bay. But moving on. Patrick Mahomes did not play well either late in that game. And that's also a concerning trend because last year in Tampa, he didn't play well. Not in the least in the Super Bowl. And against San Francisco, he did not play well until the 4th quarter. But that was more Damian Williams carrying that team to a Super Bowl. Let's be real. He should have been Super Bowl MVP. And Mahomes, late in this game, threw 2 interceptions, nearly had a fumble. Thankfully, it was recovered by his offense, but it's getting a little concerning. And one thing I fear for the Chiefs right now is that Patrick Mahomes' cap hit next year is going to be $37 million compared to $7 million this year. That $500 million extension is kicking in, baby. And I'm not so sure that no, it's a great move, don't get me wrong, but that's going to bite them. They're going to have to get rid of a few players. Hill and Kelsey will not be around forever, and the Chiefs may have just blown their actual legitimate Super Bowl window because Justin Herbert's going to get better. The Raiders hired Josh McDaniels, which was a terrible call unless they trade for Tom Brady. And Aaron Rodgers is looking like he's coming to Denver. And Lamar's going to be back. The Browns will be better. I mean, it's going to be rough for the KC next year. And so, yeah. Again, can we just talk about how many holding calls were not called on the Chiefs all day long? It's ridiculous. How do they get away with that? And by the way, I take back all my statements on the overtime rules. Beautiful rules, absolutely fantastic. I love them. They don't need to be changed. I would be saying something different if the Bengals lost. But yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions on the losers. I guess I'll talk a little about Jimmy Garoppolo. That was not a great game from him, but it was actually surprisingly similar to Patrick Mahomes in a way. They played well first half. Second half, it was a little dicey. They threw a late interception. Common denominators. Both their coaches aren't great. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe down below. Comment your thoughts and opinions on the matter. And I'll see you in the next video. My log chopping video part 2 will be coming out soon. Just you wait.